Hi, it's Lori from Coast to Coast Craft Girls coming to you from the West Coast. Today I wanted to share another little bit different take on a gatefold card that I made. This is using the Crafter's Companion Butterflies and Blooms. So this is the embossing folder that came in that, let's see, this Butterflies and Blooms collection. And I used the embossing folder on the front. And the way that I did that is I used a brayer and I inked the raised side, and that pressed that ink in, and then I watercolored it. And you can see you can see where the ink got on the outside. And I thought I had it wiped off, but it transferred. So I just inked around the edges to kind of cover it up. So that's the way that I worked. And then I used the stamp and die set on the inside, which I'll show you in a minute. So when you open it up, it's a gatefold, but then it's a pop-out. So kind of goes like that. So when it stands up like that. But it's a gatefold card. Super easy to make. So these are the flowers from the stamp and die set from that same Butterflies and Blooms collection. And then I just watercolored them. So anyway, let me show you how it's made. I'm going to make this one with a little bit different supplies, but it'll be the same card. So we're going to start out with a 10 by 7 piece of paper, and I scored it 2.5 and 7.5. And then I used, this is one of the Crafter's Companion dies. I can't remember what it was called, but and I don't have the package anymore. But I just used the inner die, did not use the outer die. And so I cut in to my white card with that die to create that trellis. Now, if you don't have that die, you could just cut an aperture and glue strips of, thin strips of white cardstock on in kind of a trellis pattern, just to kind of create your own on the back, and then kind of cover it up with another, piece of white card or something over it. So if you didn't want to look at it. But since I had the die, I thought I'd use it. And then I cut the same die again in craft card. And I'm going to lay these over the top because I wanted it in craft card, but I wanted the card in white. And I thought about just cutting an aperture, but I kind of like having the 2 layers. One, it gives you a little bit more strength. And 2, you can give it a little bit of a drop shadow. And I made the mistake on this one of I didn't have my dotty tape pen, and so I used my regular tape pen, and now I've got glue on the back of it, so I'm going to have to go figure out how to get that off. I still don't have my dotty tape pen, so I'm going to use my regular tape pen around the edges, and then I'm just going to use some wet glue. And then we're just going to line that up. Give it a little bit of a drop shadow. Make sure I got it the right side up. Okay. And the way that I got that lined up, and no, I don't think I did. I think I put it on upside down. That's okay. Make that work. I actually had my ruler out. So I was, sitting with the die like this and then moving it around with my ruler to try and get it in exactly the same spot. So there we go. And then I've got some mats and layers. But before I do that, you got to create the pop-out. Now you can do that one of 2 ways. You can take your die, position it, and then just put your cutting plates up to part of it. I'll show you what I mean. So if I have my cutting plate and I want to cut half of it, so I can put it on there. Let me slide it to this end and position my die to where I want it. And then say I just want to cut that half. Then just put my cutting plate just to there. And then that'll cut that section, but not that part. And then you flip it around and do the same thing. That's how I did the other one. This one, I'm going to do with my craft knife because I'll show you how to do it a different way. So if we do this, and I'm going to use my pencil. Actually, first thing you got to do is you got to measure. So this is 5 inches, and I want an inch for the pop out. So mark softly at 2 and 3, because that'll give me an inch right in the middle. Okay. Then I'm going to position this about where I want it, and I'm going to draw around the outside. And I'm going to try and cut right on that pencil line. And I'm just going to draw from leaving that 1 inch spot in the middle. And as soon as the pencil lines up, you'll be able to see it. Okay. So there you go. Now I can erase these marks. I'm going to take my craft knife. I'm going to go around with my eraser and get rid of any remaining pencil marks. So basically, you want to cut as if you were cutting out that panel, but you want to leave a 1 inch piece connected at the top and the bottom. Okay? And then we're going to get our, I'm going to get my big scoreboard out. Then you're going to get your scoreboard out, and you're going to connect up that mark, which should be at 4.5, and just give it a score, and 5.5. And spin it around, and same thing on the other end. Okay. Then we're just going to bend those back right at those scores, and that will create your pop out. So there's your, let me get my bone folder. Nice burnish. So there's your gatefold. Opens to a pop out. And the reason I didn't want to use the die is because I will show you. So the die made it a little bit smaller, and this gives me a little bit wider of a trellis. So now I've got some card panels and some lavender card to mat and layer. Let's put some mat and layers on. Now for on the front, this is a lily stamp that I had from a long time ago. I can't remember where I got it. And I just stamped it on a watercolor card and did a little bit of watercoloring. And I'm just going to cut it in half, so it's 3 3/4. So that means to cut it in half is what, 3 3/4. 1 3/4 is 3.5, so it must be about 1 7/8. Yep. And then I'm going to do this just like I've showed you other gatefold cards, where we're just going to put these on the front so that it essentially looks like it's coming together. Okay. Put one side on first and get it lined up right on that edge. Okay. And then we'll do the other side. Right on the edge as well. And then your picture comes together when it's a gatefold. And then you're going to open it up, and I'm going to decorate the trellis, so I'll do it flat. So, and for this one, I cut some lilies that I've got. It's a die, and I just cut them out of watercolor card and then watercolored them. So I got some purple and some sort of pinky color, and some buds and some leaves. Let me get some stems. I'm going to start with my stems. All right, and there we go, all done. So gatefold, and it opens up to a pop-out little garden trellis. And you could put a sentiment on the inside and here. You could put a panel in here to write on if you wanted to, or you could leave these blank if you wanted to put a saying, and then you could certainly put a sentiment on the front. But anyway, hope you like that. There's a second one. Here's my original. Thanks for watching.